Woman actually did file a lawsuit in this case based on how she was treated.
I told you to stop. You don't get to act this way. Come on, stay on the ground.
She sued not just because of the way she was arrested and the excessive force. She also sued because when she was injured during this incident, and they didn't get her medical care.
You just left Walmart. Do you need to be arrested right now? No. Okay. Let's stop. Come on.
From about 5 years ago, and I think it happened out in Colorado. So let's take a look. Now he's grabbing her and he's pulling her arms back. He's not really giving her any commands to like straighten her arm out. Instead, he's just started using a whole bunch of force on her. So now he's talking for the first time after he's got a handcuff on there that she's detained and there was a short struggle. He never put her under arrest for anything. Police officers are entitled to use some force when they're making an arrest, but you can't really resist arrest if you're not aware that you're under arrest. And from this woman's perspective, a police officer just walked up to her and started to kind of restrain her. So I'm not really sure he's given her the proper notice that he would need to give her in order to use force. We heard that they said she had stolen something from Walmart. That's what they were accusing her of. When it's a misdemeanor, typically the police officer has to see you committing the misdemeanor. If someone else tells the police that that you committed a crime, is usually not enough unless there's a warrant. So in this case, I don't believe that they have a warrant. And so putting her under arrest, if they hadn't seen her actually commit the crime, might have also been a bit of a problem.
After a short struggle, she's now detained. Come on. I am code 4.
Do that.
Why did you do that? I told you to stop. You don't get to act this way. Come on, stay on the ground. All right, let's stand up. Why are you doing this, ma'am? All right, stand up.
I'm not doing anything.
Right now you're resisting, which is not gonna fly with me. And before that, you tried to steal from Walmart. And they caught you and took the stuff back.
Now he finally tells her that she stole some stuff from Walmart. But this woman obviously has some altered mental status. You can tell that she does not really understand what's going on. You can also see these kind of holding onto her arm really, really tightly. So the question is this the amount of force that was needed in order to effectuate this arrest? Now the other thing too to look at when you're looking at these courses is whether or not the police actually had a right to stop you where you are. If you're walking down the road and a police officer talks to you and says, "Hey, I want you to stop," you should first ask, "Am I being detained?" If you're not being detained, if they don't have probable cause to arrest you, police don't necessarily have the right to stop and put handcuffs on you if you're just walking down the street. So if they don't have probable cause, they're usually going to ask you to stop. And so if they're asking you to do something as opposed to telling you to do it, that's usually a sign that they don't have probable cause.
I'm not going anywhere.
Why are you fighting with me? And why are you trying to slip the cuffs off?
I'm going home.
Stop.
I'm going home.
No, you're not. Are you finished? Are you finished? We don't play this game. You understand me? And if you try to kick me, this is gonna be bad.
I'm going home.
Stop.
I'm going home. I'm going home.
That there's a second officer. Now, the first officer who gets on the scene obviously is trying to put her under the arrest, and he's made all these restraint moves on her, that bending her arm back. But there's a second officer there. And what a lot of people don't know is that police officers can be held liable for the civil rights violations of other police officers if they fail to intervene. So even though we're looking at a police officer who hasn't engaged in any of that excessive force, If a police officer stands by and watches while another police officer does something, you can also be liable.
I'm going home.
No, stop.
I'm pushing.
Oh, there we go. All right. Sit down.
I'm going home.
Sit down.
I'm
down.
going home.
Get in the cart.
In you go.
Do not hook onto him.
I'll come on the other side and grab her.
Quit. Quit.
What? What are you doing? Get out of here. This is not your business. Come on.
Get in the cart.
See that there's a bystander who comes back and questions the police officer about why they are using all this force.
What's that?
Where's your sergeant?
Who's my sergeant?
Yeah.
Okay, well, first, I can tell you that. Sergeant Metzler, he's at the police department. You can go talk to him if you have an issue.
Yeah, give me your car so I can put a report.
Okay.
I see you is there how you throw the little kid.
Little kid?
Well, I don't know
He's
if
not a
he's
little kid. And this
he
is
was
what happened.
he was just walking and I see you how
She
you
just
grab him.
stole from Walmart and refused to stop, refused to listen to lawful orders, and to fight me. This is what happens when you fight the police. I have to use force to safely detain her. That's what this is. This isn't just some random act of aggression.
Oh, well,
I don't know if you realize that.
Yeah, well, the way that I see it from over there, you know, I was like, that's not.
But you see, you don't know the whole situation. That's the thing.
Yeah, you know, but it's like.
But knowing the situation, do you feel differently now?
Oh yeah, but
That's
you know,
it.
like seeing it from there, that guy just walking.
Yeah, I get
You
that.
know.
I get that. So when I went to go grab her and talk to her, she started running, leaving, pulling away from me, trying to fight me.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't see it running, you know.
Exactly. So before you go to a snap judgment, you gotta get all the facts.
But right here, she wasn't running.
I get that.
I see her walking right
Yeah.
there. You pull
All right.
over.
I gotta deal with this.
walking.
You hang tight, okay?
Now, as a bystander, you do have a right to film or even to watch police officers when they're doing things on the side of the road. But you do need to make sure that if you're not interfering with the investigation, if they find that if they feel that you are interfering with an investigation by stopping them from doing what they're supposed to do, helping the person get away, they can arrest you for your behavior. So, but it is not illegal to question a police officer. It's also not even illegal to discomfort with what a police officer is saying. You just need to make sure that you're in a safe distance or that you're not impeding an investigation, because they can charge you for that. But this person on the side of the road is actually doing this woman a solid, because he's documenting that he didn't see her doing anything that was resisting arrest and that he didn't need to use all that force. And so he's probably a good witness as to what we've seen. If we didn't have video, he'd be a good witness. Obviously we like to have videos, but sometimes police officers turn off their video cameras or they lose them. And so having a person on this that's a bystander who's watching that and willing to be a witness is also really, really important. And now we're looking at her. If you notice that, like, she obviously is in pain, you can tell that. So it's another interesting part about this. Now, this woman actually did file a lawsuit in this case based on how she was treated. She sued not just because of the way she was arrested and the excessive force. She also sued because when she was injured during this incident, and they didn't get her medical care. So typically, anytime a police officer does use force, they need to do a use of force report. That's typically standard practice, that they'll do a use of force report. And it's also probably a good idea when they use force, and that most police officers have a policy that they're supposed to check, have medical attention, check them out. So if you get sprayed by pepper spray or they get into an altercation, they usually should have you checked out. And in this case, I think later on she argued that they did not in fact get her medical care, and she actually had some shoulder injuries, as you can imagine, looking at the way she was restrained. And so the police and jailers have a duty to provide medical care to the people in their care. Once you get put into custody, and they have a duty to go ahead and get you medical care, and failing to do that is also a civil rights violation. Another thing to be thinking about here is this person, if you look back, she had she has some altered mental status, and so that can also implicate the Americans with Disabilities Act. I think the facts will say that this person had dementia, and the police officers can also be held liable under the Americans with Disabilities Act if a person is dealing with a mental health episode or diabetes or other issues that cause them to have altered mental status and they don't handle those appropriately. So typically, this is probably a time when sending a social worker out would have been much more appropriate. Because they've used force, they've kind of escalated this further than it probably needed to go. Looking back at Pacer, I can tell you that this did go to a lawsuit, and eventually it looks like it settled out of court. So, and actually, I think the police officers were actually charged criminally with a violation of the law because of the way they treated this woman on the side of the road. So this is kind of a word of caution. Like, what seems like the prerogative of police isn't always exactly something that they can do. But you know, in this case, it looks like the citizen was able to get a recovery because of how she was treated. Now, I'm Kyra Fontenot. I want you to hit like, follow, and subscribe this content, and we'll be breaking down these videos a couple times a week just to make sure that everybody knows what their rights are when they're having encounters with law enforcement.